Hello, and welcome to another episode of My Backstage Pass. This is your host, Lee Zimmerman, and I'm here with my producer, co-host, and good buddy, Billy Hubbard. And today, we're thrilled to have special guests, Shawn Camp and Lisa Stewart, joining us here. And wow, I mean, I literally don't know where to begin with the credits that you two have between you. You rule professional showbiz. You really do. You rule professional showbiz here. But really, I mean, that's really not much of an exaggeration. Both of you have just incredible credits.
Thank you, Lee.
Well, with all due respect, let's start with ladies first here. Lisa, you have been involved in so many different facets of the entertainment world, not only as a singer-songwriter, but as a TV host, and you starred on some of these very well-known television series. Mm-hmm. I guess the obvious question is, where do you find the time?
Well, I mean, it goes in phases and cycles,
Yeah.
Started with music, when I was signed to the label, that started everything on a big scale. And then that sort of led into television, which led into film. And the whole time I was writing. So it's sort of all cyclical, and it all kind of goes together in a weird way too.
They call that being a Renaissance artist.
Or very confused about.
Well, but you're doing everything with not
Thank
confused,
you.
such
no,
clarity.
It's fun. I love all of it. I love all of it.
I mean, we can go back a few years to when you had the 2008 Gospel Song of the Year.
Yeah.
You wrote that, and it was performed by Reba McEntire. Mm-hmm. And since then, you've written and performed with any number of people. I'm curious, when you achieve such a high degree of success, does it almost set a high bar for you that everything you do after, you think, well, I was up there and now I have to meet the bar? I mean,
well, I try to celebrate everything, mm-hmm. the small things and the big things,
Right.
And it's, for a while I forgot to do that. For many years I forgot to do that, and you look back and you think of all you missed by not celebrating the little things and the big things. And now I try to really be in the moment and take note of the blessings and the cool things that come my way,
Yeah, and so many cool things that have come your way, too. Vampire Diaries, love that show.
That was cool.
Yeah, love that show.
Thank you.
And Shawn, again, you have written with and performed with some amazing artists during your career. You've been responsible for co-writing some major hit songs for some major artists. Of course, now you're in the Dukes of Leicester, and you play a prime role there as the band's lead singer. And again, the same question: how do you juggle all this activity here?
I don't know. I'm just do one day at a time. It's just one whatever pops up in front of me that day is what we're doing. So
Yeah.
it's a little bit different every day. And tonight we've got Daniel Kimbrough going to play bass with us tonight too, and he's also with me on the Earls of Leicester too. So and we play together, and so we don't do a lot of shows. We haven't this year, but. We've been off a couple of years, and I'm like everybody has, I guess. But,
yeah.
But planning on a busier schedule probably next year if all things go as planned.
Right. Well, as I was saying earlier, I saw you at that Earl Scruggs Music Festival, the first one, which they don't have much to tweak going forward with that festival. It was amazing.
Pretty good.
It was great.
Yeah.
Really well done.
It was excellent. And, of course, the Earls were in a prime spot in that lineup.
Yeah.
And you did a solo show. I think you had a substitute for somebody who was
That's right.
Yeah.
ill.
Somebody got sick, and they asked me to step in, and I played over there and did mostly a solo show. Lisa got up and sang a few songs with me.
Yeah.
And that was
Yeah.
cool. That was cool. And So we're just rolling along. Lisa and I've been writing a lot of songs together, and we've just turned out to be a team here this year.
Terrific. Yeah. So, are we going to see the product of that songwriting collaboration in an album at some
point?
Play
you some stuff tonight. We will.
Yeah. Oh, great!
Yes.
Looking forward to that.
You guys have been playing Analog. Is that a new place in Nashville?
Well, fairly new. It's inside the Hutton Hotel in Nashville on West End Avenue, and Analog is a beautiful venue that was designed by Michael Cronin, and it's just so gorgeous, and it sounds amazing.
She's a great jazz singer,
Oh, I was
listening
mostly
during the sound check.
Yeah, she does a lot of that there, and that's she really opened the door to that venue for me. That was your contact.
They wanted to be, Analog wants to be a real music center in Music City, and they want to feature all kinds of music, specifically jazz, but also they want to take note of the great country music that happens there. So, of course, Shawn is he's the greatest example of a virtuoso, really, and so they brought him in as well to play, and so we did a residency there, and we've got another one coming up November the 18th and 19th. Where we're going to do country stuff together.
Excellent.
Cool. I may have to come for that one.
Yeah, you should come down. It'll be a lot of fun.
So are you, what's the repertoire? Are you going to take classic country songs, or are you going to do your original? Or
we'll do a lot of the same stuff we do tonight, I'm sure, but we'll, probably add a few.
Yeah, we'll probably add
too.
some things. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we may write a couple things before then too.
Oh, I
hope so.
I guess we should mention we're at the station for this show. Yes, I was
going to mention that, Billy. Very professional of you to say that.
Go ahead, Derek. You can talk about it.
We're at the station.
There you go. You sound much more professional.
Oh, yeah. No, you just did.
He's a wordsmith, yeah.
Well, no, this is a beautiful venue, and you're no stranger to this.
I love this room, man. It sounds better than almost anywhere I've been, it's really got a wonderful acoustic tone with all this wood in here. It sounds like the inside of a guitar to me. So
yeah, 130-year-old wood.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty old.
These walls could talk.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah, really.
It is a great sounding room. At Soundcheck today, you sounded amazing.
Yeah.
Really? Yeah. Cool. Richard was doing a great job running sound over there.
Really good. We're excited about the show tonight, but and also I was going to ask Shawn now. I heard rumors that you were riding with Willie Nelson back whenever I was in Nashville when I saw you last time. Didn't that turned into a record he just released, right?
Yeah,
wow.
I wrote that song for him probably 10 years ago or so, and Buddy Cannon is Willie's producer, and Buddy called me to come and play on a Willie tour. He was doing a TV tour back 10 years ago. Did the Letterman show, Dave Letterman, and QVC, and I don't know, a couple of other TV shows, and up in New York City and around, and so I played that for him right after I'd written it outside of the Dave Letterman show in the middle of the day after sound check. And Willie said, well, hell, I'll cut that tomorrow.
Wow.
And I said, well, let's get us a studio booked. And it is silence. That happened for 10 years.
Oh, wow.
And then every year I would pitch it again. I'd say, hey, buddy, remember Willie told me he was going to cut this song. So finally he did and made it the title of the album. And actually I wrote another song on it with a guy named Charles Humphrey III, who played with the Steep
Canyon
not
Rangers.
The Steep Canyon Boys. Was it Steep Canyon? Yeah, it was.
Well, originally,
I played bass with him.
Over the Hill.
Yeah, on the road band.
On the road clubs.
And and Charles and I are buddies, and he would come to Nashville, and I had been over to Hawaii and been to Willie's place in Maui, and he's got a little old garage behind his carport, and I mean, to look at it, you wouldn't think that's Willie Nelson's house. I mean, he's got a Mercedes up on blocks out in the front yard.
Wow.
The gate's not really on the hinge, and it's not shut. He never shuts the gate,
Really?
He's just a trusting soul, and I think that's really been his motto. He's just let it roll off of him no matter what happened, But anyway, I went out there and he kept trying to get me to play poker with him. He had a bunch of high rollers coming in there. It's a $500 buy-in, you know, and I'm just sitting there watching them. And finally, after a couple of times, he asked me to get in on a hand. I said, Willie, I ain't ever going to play poker with you. I will play pool with you. I've seen you shoot pool, and that's one thing you can't practice on that bus.
Right.
And so, but I was sitting there, and he had a sign on the wall that said, "We're not happy till you're not happy." And I thought, man, if Willie don't write that down, I'm going to write it down. And I wrote it with Charles. Yeah, it's a gambling kind of song about the poker game that I watched, and it's a good little tune.
And what was the title of that title song?
We're not happy till you're not happy.
But the title.
The title of the album is "A Beautiful Time." Yeah. Yeah, okay. That was all about it. He had poker. He's got poker tables set up in there, and a chess board, and I don't know, several sorts of gambling games he's got set up. Right, maybe a roulette wheel in there, But I was sitting there, and this old boy walked through the door with a satchel in his hand, and he was I think he was the CEO of the Lone Star Roadhouse or something.
Wow.
And he had been in there the night before, and had lost $5,000 or $10,000, and he walked through the door, and Willie goes, "There comes old Moneybags again," whispered to the boys around the table.
Yeah.
And he came in there and started throwing down them $500 out of whack,
Now, Lisa, I understand that. Work with me on this. Just
okay,
follow
sure.
me.
Yeah, okay.
That you did a song that you dedicated to Willie, and it was called "When Smoke Gets in Your Eyes."
Yes.
Just an excuse to use the button.
That's a good button.
Yeah, it is a good button.
Well, I was just thinking if if it was me and that was that situation, tell Willie to have some of that reserve, Willie's reserve. And I might take him on, but I don't know. He's probably pretty good either way, right?
I think he's all right either way.
Yeah.
Balances him out.
Yeah.
Wowie, as we call it.
Probably done enough to carry him through the rest of the ride.
And
really.
we're not condoning that. Let's be clear. We're not condoning that, but. And Tennessee, come on, Tennessee, get with it. Anyway, that was my aside there. Shawn, so you are you doing a dual career now with the Earls and with your solo projects? Are you sort of splitting up your time?
Well, I do that, but I also play with Verlin Thompson. We got the little Guy Clark tribute thing we do, and I've got a band, or I'm in a band that nobody ever has heard of, and nobody's hardly ever heard. We have called the World Famous Headliners, but that's big.
What a great name!
Yeah, we started out world famous, and it's been downhill from there. But we made a couple of albums, and Pat McLaughlin, Big Al Anderson, Michael Rhodes, and Greg Morrow, and we wrote all the songs for that. So I feel like we'll get back and do something in the next year or so and start playing some, but.
That sounds like a super group.
They're all in different high roller groups, and but yeah, that's fun sometimes to do. And then I'm doing a lot with Lisa. We write a lot of songs, and hopefully we'll have a project together before too long.
Well, you better. We're now psyched up for that.
Yeah.
But I would, you mentioned Verlin and Guy Clark in particular, and we all know you worked with Guy, and I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that you won a Grammy Award for My Favorite Picture of You, one of his great albums.
I was a co-producer on that.
That's huge.
That's the only Grammy Guy Clark ever won. You believe that?
Wow.
That's amazing.
It's crazy.
Hard to believe.
That is hard to believe.
But we had Tamara on. Remember, we had Tamara on here.
Oh, yeah.
Tamara Saviano.
Yeah.
She is one of my favorite people in the world because if it were not for her, I would not have gotten my publishing deal for my book, Americana Music, Voices, Visionaries, and Pioneers of an Honest Sound. Okay, that's a way of slipping in the plug, but you did the intro there, so that worked. But she's and so I know that you worked on
this one's for
this
him.
one's for her.
Yeah. I produced the music on that. She made the calls and got the people in there, the artists and stuff. But there's 33 or 34 artists on there. It took us a couple of years to record that.
Wow.
That's seriously probably one of my favorite CDs. I just wish it had vinyl. And I said something to Tamara. Maybe I said something to you about it. And then, I don't know, these vinyl probably ain't going to happen on that one. But
it'd be great if it would. Maybe there'll be an anniversary that pops up You know, I mean, it's been a while, man. It's been 10 years.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So
10 years,
Time for some vinyl.
we won the Americana Album of the Year in 2012 with that.
Yes.
I believe it was.
Yes.
And we were nominated for a Grammy for that, but I think we lost to Bob Dylan or somebody. I don't know.
Oh, dang.
Who's that?
Well, it's not too bad losing to Bob Dylan.
Yeah, but
And you know what they say? It's not the winning that counts, just being recognized. Right. Again, another excuse. Sorry.
But now, Lisa, I saw you do as a voice actress too.
That's right.
And I can't remember everything I read because I forgot to print some stuff off. I was going to get a cheat sheet, but I do remember some of
Supposed
it.
to be professional.
I'm sorry.
Really.
We'll get rid of that later.
Yeah, you'll edit that out.
But I mean, yeah, and I just listened to you up there. Man, you guys compliment each other so well. That was incredible. I was like,
Thank you.
man. It was seriously just a sound check. Yeah, I mean, it was amazing. It must be that microphone. I'm like, if I sound like that, I'll
it's
pay
her, man.
pay a
It's
fortune for that microphone. I'm just kidding.
That's so sweet. Thank you very much.
Now,
The mic's for sale, by the way.
I'll buy it. Oh, I was going to ask her about her voice. I guess like voice actress, basically, you call it in the acting world. Yeah.
Yep.
So, and I saw you had a lot of. I just looked at some of them, even some animation stuff. You know, watching all these animate things. I'm always fascinated. I think how crazy that people change your voice because you won't know who it is until you look at the credits.
Right. I mean, I love. It's a great gig because, I mean, I can do a lot of that stuff at home. You know, from a little, home studio. It's great. I work in my pajamas doing voiceover stuff.
That is cool.
Yeah, and sometimes Shawn helps me out with that too. He's got a studio at his house.
Oh, excellent.
So, if we're writing together and it's like, oh, Shawn, look, a voice thing just came in for me. Oh, well, let's go to the studio and knock it out. And we just, do that. And
You're not always wearing pajamas.
Well, not always, no. But then we send it to just make a WAV file and send it back to the client. Boom, done.
That's cool. Wow.
It's very cool. I love that gig.
She's amazing. I've never heard of anybody that is that great at what she does, honestly.
Well, and so multi-talented too, which is amazing. But again, as I was asking before, how did the two of you meet and work out this collaboration?
Would you like to tell the story? Or
Why don't you tell the story,
It's a good story.
Well, I mean, Shawn and I, we were both on major labels in the 90s. And so I knew about him. And he knew about me.
We had met.
And we had met, in passing, at these different events and things like that.
Early 90s.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow.
And then, we actually lived across the street from each other when we moved to Nashville, but didn't know that.
The only restaurant I ever worked at was the only restaurant she ever worked at, and we didn't know each other at the same restaurant.
Wow.
And we had the same exact job there, probably a couple of months apart.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly.
It's crazy. A
We've had
vegetarian restaurant in Nashville called The Slice of Life.
Slice of Life. We both worked there.
Is it still there?
No, it's no longer
building's
there.
Oh. She's still got the apron that says
I do.
Slice of Life. Wow. Somehow, how'd you get that? You must have.
I absconded with the apron.
I see.
And it survived all this time. But anyway, but Shawn and I have led parallel lives for 35 years, probably.
Yeah. Wow.
And then I was writing for a project, and I was trying to think of people that whose writing I really admired and that I would really like to write with. And I thought of Shawn. I had seen him a few years prior at the Texas Heritage Songwriters Hall of Fame, was just blown away by his performance, and realized, wow, he is a hoss. He's amazing. And so I reached out to him, and he said, sure. So we got together, and the first time, it was in November of last year, we got together to write, and we wrote 2 songs that day. And we realized, wow, this was so effortless, and this was so easy. We got each other on that creative level, And then we got together again not long after that.
I don't know, a week or so?
Yeah.
A couple weeks?
Yeah. And then we continued to write and write and write, and then our friendship became something more, and here we are.
Oh, we don't have a sound effect for that. Like,
that's too bad. What about that little jingly thing you did a minute ago?
What's that pixie dust?
pink one. Yeah.
It's kind of pixie dust.
Oh, that's nice.
I thought that
That's a
worked.
good one for that. So how long have y'all been together here with this?
Well, we started writing in November.
Oh, it hasn't been that long then, has it?
No, just a year, almost a year.
Okay. All right. Great.
Yeah.
And you got a record in the works, and you're still doing your individual thing. I mean, again, you're multitasking like crazy here.
We did our first show together in July in Nashville.
1st of July,
at Analog. For that residency, it was the first time we performed together.
Yeah.
All right, and I think didn't you make an appearance on Billy's?
Yeah, I played on Billy's record.
Oh, yeah.
That's a cool record, man. I'm really honored to be a part of that.
Hey, man, I'm honored. But Civil War letters, that's been. I've had people send me messages crying. It's really fascinating. I don't know what.
Wow.
It's a sad story. So it's based on Civil War. I studied a bunch of Civil War letters, because they wrote so elegant, like "Oh my dearest darling." So I just got a bunch of them together and wrote this song that's so sad.
What's the name of the song, Billy?
It's called Civil War Letters.
Oh, I probably should have guessed.
Yeah, Civil War Letters.
The album's just, it just came out.
What's the name of the album?
Billy Hubbard.
But this is,
Billy.
I shouldn't even have to ask these questions. Right.
I know, but I had a bunch of singles over back in the old days. I pulled all my digital stuff off because it was a little bit outdated because I spent 30 years raising kids or something, and now I'm back in the saddle again.
All right.
That's good, man.
All right.
But,
that's great.
Anyway, but yeah, we're going to have to wrap it up here, but appreciate you guys. Look, you guys, you guys got, I know Shawn Camp, anybody can find Shawn Camp and Lisa Stewart online, so check these guys out. As far as, and we didn't even get into your acting stuff. You got some really cool.
That's why, you don't know where to begin or where to end, because between the two of you, you are professional show business. You really are professional show business.
Yeah, and we appreciate you coming out. So I guess I'm going to have to do a little outro here. So
all right, well, enjoyed it, guys. Thanks for hanging out and visiting with us.
Hey, it's great.
Thanks for having us.
Big thanks to Shawn Camp and Lisa Stewart and our host, Lee Zimmerman. Check out Lee's book, Americana Music, Voices, Visionaries, Pioneers of an Honest Sound. Now available on Amazon. Please like, share, and subscribe to My Backstage Pass on your favorite outlet. And we'll see you all next time. Happy trails.